Welcome back to Lockett in the Czech Republic, round 14 of the FIM MX2 Motocross World Championship with me, Paul Malin. We are live at the circuit, and in about 45 minutes time or thereabouts, we should hopefully see a world champion crowned for the second time. Of course, I'm talking Jeffrey Herlings of the Red Bull KTM factory racing team, but still a long way to go. 35 minutes plus 2 laps. And a venue that has been steeped in history the last 40 years or so should hopefully bear witness to another day in history as Jeffrey Herlings looks to crown himself for the second consecutive season. So far along the way, he's taken 25 race wins this year. He's notched up 53 moto victories and 28 Grand Prix career wins since he burst onto the scene just 4 years ago, 2010. But here, of course, in the second moto is where he dislocated a shoulder that took him out of the championship for third place. Like I say, there's a long way to go. Not wishing anything on anybody and all that, but he knows now, he's more mature, he knows what he's got to do. He's been pretty relaxed all weekend. And Jordi Tixier, the only other guy that can realistically win mathematically this MX2 world title. So sit back and enjoy MX2 Race 2. Well, a little bit earlier, the riders left the skybox area, did their sighting lap, and the rain clouds that came and covered us in MX1 Race 1 and briefly disappeared seem to be lurking over the top of the castle once again. Hopefully we'll miss them. Hopefully we'll have a dry MX2 race. The track's not actually in too bad condition, but it's that kind of circuit though. It's hard and slick, and a little bit more water on the top will just make it that little bit more difficult for the riders to get around here as cleanly as possible. But that's how they lined up after the qualifying race. Herlings coming from outside the top 10 to win the qualifying race yesterday. Max Anstey had a big crash when he launched himself into the side of Elliot Banks-Brown in moto number 1. Not sure, actually, not heard whether he's going to be on the start line for moto number 2. Although I'm sure, looking down on the start list in 9th place, that's where he qualified yesterday. Just look for the Suzuki, and I think that might be him just in front of the banners, about 8 or 9 gates over. So we'll keep our eyes peeled for that. And also Elliot Banks-Brown, who was 4th in moto number 1 before he crashed out just 2 corners later. I think he will be okay to continue. But there is Jeffrey Herlings, champion-elect. Up the inside, gate number 1 had wheel spin in the first race as he launched off the gate, but he'll be looking to get a cleaner start and do as little as possible in this second moto. 5-second borders turn, the gate drops now, and Herlings and Charlier disappeared down the start straight. Herlings not making it easy for Herlings. Or Charlier not making it easy for Herlings. Everybody looks to be safely through. Oh, a couple of guys. Yeah, Tim Geiser. I'm sure the officials will be looking at that. He came from about 20 up to 3rd there. So he's probably going to pick up a penalty. He wasn't the only one to go through there, though. But it's Boutron, Charlier, Koldenhoff, Tonkov as they get to the bottom of the hill, turn 4. And no sign of a Suzuki, so maybe no Max Anstey, but it's Jose Boutron who disappears over the crest for the first time. You see how square-edged and choppy those bumps are, big braking bumps at the bottom of the hill. Charlier 2nd, Koldenhoff 3rd in 3rd place. Then it's Rauschenecker getting squeezed there by the 59er. Alexander Tonkov for that 4th place. So Tonkov 4th, Rauschenecker 5th, Herlings in 6th, Tixier 7th, Fevre 8th, Lupino 9th, and then one of the Monster Energy Yamahas just behind him, side by side as they launch into the old turn 2. Oh, getting hung up there, might be Pocock. And then Geiser just behind. Oh, Herlings almost through the front door at the end of the straight. A big, big moment. And a reminder that this championship is far from over. As we said, another 35 minutes plus 2 laps to go. His heart would have been in his mouth there, Jeffrey Herlings, at the end of that straight. And I wonder if we see it from an onboard perspective, because the panic rev would have been through the limiter. So over the line then for the first time. As we see Ferris just going through behind Elliot Banks-Brown. At the end of the straight, looks like there's a bit of work gone on just there, but it's Boutron from Charlier. Takes a look over his shoulder, sees Koldenhoff, then Tonkov in fourth. Then it's Hurlings in fifth position now. Then Pascal Rauschnecker. Then Jordi Tixier, Roman Fevre, Mel Pocock, and Tim Geiser, they're your top 10. But bottom end of the circuit, let's keep an eye on Hurlings here on the outside of Alexander Tonkov. Launches up the inside, Tonkov knows he's there. Going to put the squeeze on him, but then lets him through, doesn't want to get involved. Because Tonkov, let's not forget, after Moto number 1, where he finished third, he is also on course for picking up a overall podium this weekend here at Lockett. So we'll keep our eyes on that little scenario as well. Tonkov, who's 13th in the championship, 4th, his best result at the French Grand Prix in terms of the overall Grand Prix. He said in the first race that he tried to stay on the back of Jeffrey Hurlings, but he was to follow his lines, but he was just so fast. But this, a lap ago through here, Hurlings almost over the handlebars at the end of the straight. Going after Koldenhoff, the 259. Just watch this, a lap ago. Jeffrey Hurlings takes off now. Feet off the pegs and landed short. Big, big moment and a big scare for Jeffrey Hurlings. So we're on board with the defending champion as he looks to find a way past Glenn Koldenhoff on the standing construct. KTM ahead of him in third place, the 259. Probably the best location for the pit lane in terms of Grand Prix this weekend, because you see both sides of the circuit. You see the front and the first turn part there dropping down, then the mechanics disappear over the back, and watch the other part of the circuit. But Hurlings is through, past Koldenhoff. Here's how he did it. No. That's Fevre down the inside of Tixier. So Fevre jumping into 7th, then Tixier getting it right back. But having a little bit better luck this time. Number 17, Jose Boutron. Charlier behind him, but there is Jeffrey Hurlings. Number 84, our championship leader and potential world champion in the second moto. Koldenhoff goes through 4th. Then the Esther Motorsports Honda, Alexander Tonkov, who, on our MX Live TV show, with Jackie Martins as a guest, the Will Van der Star JM Racing team manager, confirming that Tonkov is a rider at Husqvarna Factory Racing MX2 next year. Charlier down the inside, makes the pass, doesn't make it stick though, because responding immediately, as you would expect, Jose Boutron gets back on the gas and launches his Silver Action KTM right back past the 23 Monster Energy Yamaha Frenchman, Christophe Charlier. Jeffrey Hurlings switching to the outside to try and find a way past Christophe Charlier. Charlier knows he's there. A little bit deja vu between these two guys. It was Charlier who was crowned. Ooh, back wheel gets a little bit loose, and Koldenhoff looking to find a way back through. There's Manuel, mechanic of Charlier, hanging out the board, just trying to offer him a little bit of encouragement, but still just under 30 minutes to go. Back end getting loose here, is it? Yeah. That's 2 lives gone for Jeffrey Hurlings. Being his second moto, that's what it looks like on board. Suddenly the back end snapping round. Body just correcting itself. Oh, I think Lupino's been off. So Lupino, who was in 10th place, remounts ahead of, or just behind, Samuele Bernardini. And that's been expensive for the Italian, because Bernardini is 23rd in the race. So Alessandro Lupino, number 300, now in just outside the top 20. So the rider who finished second in Moto number 1, and a fine second as well, leaves himself an awful lot of work to do just to get back on the score sheet as Evan Hayby dives up the inside of Seba Brulyakov. Brulyakov just keeping it there, ahead of the Scott Racing KTM rider, 112. Wonder if this is Lupino. No. So Hurlings then diving down the inside of Charlier. Gets himself into second position. As we were looking at other stuff. Oh, that's Lupino at the top of the hill. And I wonder if it was another moment like we had with Anstey and Elliot Banks-Brown. Ooh, I thought Charlier was having a cheeky look at the inside there of Jeffrey Hurlings. 3 laps complete. Number 17, Jose Boutron, Silver Action KTM. He leads the way, but look how close the number 84 of Jeffrey Hurlings, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing, is to the Spaniard. Don't forget, Hurlings about to be crowned world champion, but Boutron, he's in his own little battle for 3rd place in the championship. With Christophe Charlier, as Hurlings once again using that line to good effect up the inside. Hurlings on the charge then. Cast square edge, those bumps are there. Pretty steep, that incline as well. Doesn't look it here. TV definitely flattens everything out, and steep on the downside as well. Then levels out, but it's an off-cambered left-hander at the bottom here. And then a little bit choppy under acceleration before swooping through up into this right-hander. And Charlier going after Boutron, who was 51 points clear. Boutron was before they arrived here, but he didn't score in the first moto. But Charlier, who's looking to find a way up the inside, picked up 4th place. So he pulled back 18 points on the Spaniard and goes through in a 2nd position and going after Jeffrey Hurlings. Well, if there's one thing that Christophe Charlier would love to do, is get a moto win to add to the one that he picked up in Sweden. And he'd love to get another one here in this 2nd moto. Anything to rain on the parade. So Boutron is in 3rd in the championship on 416, Charlier on 383 at the moment. So those two in their own little battle. There's Pascal Rauschnecker in 7th place. Number 76 on the standing construct KTM ahead of Jordi Tixier and Jake Nichols in 9th. Dylan Ferrandis, Bud Rockstar Racing Kawasaki in 10th. Tim Geiser is 11th. Dean Ferris 12th. Monster Energy Yamaha ahead of his teammate Mel Pocock. And then 14th, Kevin Ford. Jason Clermont is 15th. Robert Just, Petr Petrov, Kimi Ratek, Van der Laar Yamaha. He's got a mountain to climb in 17th at the moment. Don't be surprised if you see him getting towards the top 10. Seen him do it a few times this year. But Rauschnecker, good rider, a good talent. Was good in Europeans a couple of years ago, but just not worked for him in the MX2 championship. Just needs a good break every now and again. And I think next year, if he stays with the team, he can build on his speed, his fitness, his talent. Maybe surprise a few people next year, but Tixier looking to go around the outside of the Austrian. Squares him off. He's got a good smooth line heading up over the plateau. And Tixier easily through by and into 7th position. Rauschnecker not letting him have it all his own way there. There's Jake Nichols, 45, still without a ride, we're told, in MX1 in 2014. As Elliot Banks-Brown out again on the HM Plank KTM UK. Went down hard in the first moto. Last thing he wants to see is a RF camera just in his face at the end of pit lane as Jake Nichols going after Rauschnecker. So this is for, well, it doesn't matter because Jake Nichols nails it down. That was going to be for 8th place. So with 24 minutes plus 2 to go, Hurlings 1.2 seconds clear on the Red Bull KTM of the Monster Energy of Christophe Charlier. Yamaha, of course. Jose Boutron on the Silver Action KTM is 3rd. Glenn Koldenoff on the standing construct KTM is 4th. Tom Kopp is 5th with Fevre, Tixier, Nichols, Rauschnecker and Ferrandis rounding out the top 10. Jordi Tixier, 9-11, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing. Had a strange weekend this weekend, didn't look comfortable in qualifying yesterday. He finished down in 7th position in Moto number 1 today. A similar result really. Came home in 5th, never really looked like charging, but whoa, Rauschnecker off the track. as Ferrandis goes through. So 122, Dylan Ferrandis, Rockstar Blood Racing Kawasaki, takes another position, climbs himself up into 9th place. Rumoured to be at CLS next year. But like anything, unsure until we'll get it confirmed officially. Rauschenegger very, very lucky, had to lock up, and the ground very, very dry down there as well, so probably felt like he was speeding up going into that little bank of dirt there on the inside, just to prevent people from gaining an advantage and cutting that particular part of the racetrack. As we go on board with Jeffrey Hurlings, as he comes over the Monster Energy finish line into the tight right-hander, gets ready to drop down over the Casino Bonva tabletop. 3rd gear, maybe 4th gear, because he'd probably take that corner in 3rd on that factory KTM, having ridden one last year. Nicely done though, look at that. 149.2, fastest man on track that time around, fastest lap of the race as well, and instantly he's 2.6 seconds clear now of Christophe Charlier. I just switch off for a minute here and just listen to the bike here of Jeffrey Hurlings and watch him ride around for a little bit, well, maybe the next time. Lupino back in the points in 17th, going after Jason Clement. But Rockstar Racing Kawasaki easily finds a way through. So Lupino really with 21, well, he's got time actually, 21.5 minutes. He wants another podium. Overall finish, that is. Really got to ride hard though, the CLS Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki rider. There's Kevin Four, 9:22, just ahead of him. Kimia Raytek van der Laar, Yamaha. But Lupino got him in his sights as he winds back the throttle on that Kawasaki. Goes after Kevin Four. Back on board with Hurlings. Getting ready to go to pit lane. Here's Pit Vira.
Pit, an important weekend for KTM. Are you happy with the way things have gone with the MX2 boys this year, and especially Jeffrey, of course?
Yeah, of course. What can we say? I mean, we are 1 and 2 with the boys. But what Jeffrey is doing right now is just incredible. I mean, I want to remind everybody, this kid is 18 right now, and maybe the biggest talent we have seen in the European motocross world. So, yeah, I'm really happy for him. He did a great job this season, and he just deserves it to win it. If it's today or next time, no matter for us, but it will happen today, and we are very happy.
Thanks, Pit.
And Jeffrey Hurlings storms another first sector, 34.7 compared to a 36 of Christophe Charlier. That gap now 5 seconds over the Frenchman. Sit back and listen to this bike. Oh, there's Glenn Coldenhoff. He's still in pursuit of number 17, Jose Boutron, the Spaniard on the Silver Action KTM race machine. And Tonkov not going away either. Number 59 on the Ester Motorsports Honda. But in terms of the overall podium, of course, it stays like this. It'll be Hurlings, Charlier and Tonkov. So Tonkov just needs to stay where he is. He doesn't have to find a way past Glenn Coldenhoff, because he's now on the podium on 36 points. Coldenhoff on 33, Tixier on 30. And Lupino on 27, so a little bit of work to do for him. But this will be a big day for Alexander Tonkov. Rain starting to come again, so right on cue. It was coming in over the mountains, over the top of the Locket Castle at the start of the race. So interchangeable conditions this weekend in the Czech Republic, Locket. 14th round of the FIM MX2 Motocross World Championship. It was MX1 who got this treatment in their first race. Dry conditions, a nice blue sunny sky, but quickly turned to rain around about the same point. Here's Lupino going after Kevin Four and finds a way through. That'll put him 15th. Unless, of course, Kevin Four, Kimia Raytek van der Laar Yamaha, decides to drop up the inside, which he doesn't. And there's Boutron, Coldenhoff and Tonkov coming through 3rd, 4th and 5th. Just behind them was Romain Fevre actually in 6th place on the Wilbona Star and GM Racing KTM. Then Tixier and Nichols only about 2 seconds apart, and the rain really starting to lash down now. So with 18 minutes to go, guys with tear-offs are going to be finding it a little bit difficult to keep their riders, or their rivals in their sights. As you get too close, you're destroying your laminate tear-offs, and you back off, you're falling right into the clutches, in this case, of Alexander Tonkov, who's right there where he needs to be. But again, he's also riding laminate, so he needs to back off maybe, or risk throwing away the goggles later on in the race. But Koldenhoff, a man in a hurry at the moment. Oh, and I thought he was up the inside of Boutron there. He was sixth in Moto number 1, the number 259. The second rider in shot right now at the bottom of the hill. But it's not going to be good enough for a podium. It's going to be 4th as it stands right now. But it'll be good enough for Alexander Tonkov, the guy behind him, 59 on the Ester Motorsports Honda, but he can't afford to lose too many positions either, because Roman Febvre, who likes the wet and rainy conditions, there's a nervous Tim Mathis looking on there, team owner for Standing Construct KTM. As I said before, the team name reflects the nature of the guy's business. Construction company in Belgium. Boutron, how nervous is he right now? Normally, in a dry condition racetrack, he's probably okay, but this rain makes the surface unpredictable. And Koldenhoff looking for a move down the inside at the bottom of the hill, and Boutron knows he's there. Immediately he switches back and regains that 3rd place. All he's focused on is trying to score as many points as possible, Boutron, to keep 3rd place in the championship alive. But down the inside, great move from Koldenhoff, and he tries to switch back to the inside, gets on the gas, 3rd gear, closes the gap down once again. Koldenhoff going back after him, oh, almost ran him out of the track. Boutron just hanging on for 3rd, number 17. So these two tripping themselves up. Alexander Tonkov, the 3rd rider in shot on the red Honda, the Ester Motorsports rider from Russia. These guys are coming back to him, but nervous look over his shoulder when he will reveal Roman Febvre is there as well. And that would give another couple points back to Koldenhoff. So then it will be squeaky bum time for the Russian. Because if Koldenhoff goes past Boutron and Febvre goes past Tonkov, that's another missed opportunity in terms of a podium for the number 59. Mariani, you were so busted then. Right, back with the action. That is the 3rd. Oh, Tonkov from one side of the track to the next. Boutron almost bouncing out of the corner at the end of the straight. Allows the 259 here of Koldenhoff to get right back in, but he gets a bit of a kick as well over that jump onto the plateau. So he might have gained and lost a little bit of time at the same time. Erling's 10 seconds clear of Charlier. Koldenhoff, what can he do about Jose Boutron? Again, it comes down to visibility in the end. Yeah, Tim Mathis urging him on. He's had a podium. He liked the taste of that last week. He wants more. So too does Glenn Koldenhoff on the outside of the back marker there. Giacomo Del Segato on the 262 machine. The Italian riding for Marchetti Racing. Well, Roman Febvre, the last rider in the shot there, riding the 461 Wilbona Star GM Racing KTM, still not quite close enough to do anything about Alexander Tonkov, the number 59 on the red Ester Motorsports Honda. James Dunn about to be lapped. He's outside the points at the moment. Meanwhile, Lupino up in the 13th place. He has Petr Petrov just ahead of him, and Dean Ferris, and 243 Tim Geiser. So 3 guys right in the firing range of 300 Lupino. As Ferris makes a mistake in that top right-hander, Petrov looking to square off and dive down the inside of Geiser. In the white helmet, Petr Petrov, Kimi Ratek Vanderlei Yamaha. Said before, don't be surprised if we see him charging back up in towards the top 10. Seen it on a number of occasions this year from the Bulgarian, the number 152 there on that blue Yamaha. Waslapino got in the tank, didn't have to lose or use too much energy in moto number 1. He got a good start, pretty much got himself into second. And so it was a pretty easy race compared to the one that he's having right now, where he's really having to think about it and rectify the mistake. Possibly landed in the side of another rider at the crest of the hill on the entry pit lane. 2 or 3 laps into the moto. But Geisser under attack from 152. Petrov, who goes round the outside and tries to double his way in, but no one making it in the race because of the big braking bumps on the downside. So Petrov then launches his way into 11th place. He's got Ferris just ahead of him on the Monster Energy Yamaha. Third, fourth, fifth in the same shot. It's still the 17 of Jose Boutron here on the Silver Action KTM, the 259 standing construct KTM of Glenn Coldenhoff, and the 59 Ester Motorsports Honda rider Alexander Tonkov. So these guys in their own little battle, about 5 seconds behind Christophe Charlier and about 3 seconds clear of Romain Fevre. Just depends on how much longer this rain continues to fall, how it changes the condition of the circuit, and who makes the first mistake. So 11.5 minutes plus 2 to go. Hurling still in control at the head of the field. Charlier, Boutron a second and third. And at the bottom of the hill, Tonkov just going through, a mistake from Coldenhoff in the end. So advantage to Alexander Tonkov. He was happy just to sit behind the Dutchman, the 259, Glenn Coldenhoff, but it was a mistake at the end of the wave section that's allowed him through. And the Russian now going after third place in the second moto, looking to eye up the number 17 of Jose Boutron. Oh, who's down? Maxime Dupre goes down. Waved yellows. He was a lap down. Every year we see it. Riders going down on this part of the racetrack. It's just where they come over the top of the hill. Look at this. Just the front end. Oh, lost the front end as he got too close to the edge of the track and caught a square edge bump right in front of that battle for third place. The marshals very quick to react. Credit to them as Ivan Monticelli, the Ritchie Racing TM rider, comes in. As Maxime Dupre picks himself up, thinks about rejoining the race. The rain continues to fall here. But Boutron, comfortable where he is at the moment, it would seem. The battle for third continues with number 17, Jose Boutron, Alexander Tonkov, 59 on the red Honda, and the 259, Glenn Coldenhoff. But a moment ago, that battle almost became decimated as Maxime Dupre crashed at the top of on the crest of the hill, going past pit lane as he was being lapped. Fortunately, rider and bike are okay, but the bike didn't as well jump itself back into the circuit and caused too many problems, allowing that battle to go through. But Jeffrey Hurling's 13.2 seconds clear, had a couple of moments. One where he was almost through the front door in the opening lap through the wave section, and another one where the back end just mildly came around on him 2 or 3 laps later. But he's got himself into the lead. He's pulled clear of Christophe Charlier out of Monster Energy Yamaha. We're on board with his teammate though, Jordi Tixier, as he comes over the line in 7th place, 35 seconds down on the leader. It was always going to be a tall order, but as long as there's a mathematic chance, there is Dupre. Just getting himself going again. Just came wide, lost the front end, it went too high, hit square edge bump just past the JM banner. And he pretty much folded the front end. Here's Jake Nichols going after Jordi Tixier, number 911. And he's got Dylan Ferrandis with him as well. So let's give you a quick rundown Hernings leads, Charlier second, Boutron third, Tonkov fourth, then it's Coldenhoff, Febvre, Tixier, Nichols, that's them going through, Dylan Ferranis in the red and yellow, and Alessandro Lupino, he's a little bit further back though. So it looks like 10th for Lupino is all he's going to get. As we look at Jake Nichols coming down on the World Star GM Racing KTM, trying to stay ahead of this guy. The rain has stopped here for the second time of the day. Remember, we had a storm in Moto number 1, another rain shower here in the second race for MX2. Dean Ferris is in 11th, Petr Petrov 12th, Geiser is 13th, Rauschenecker 14th, Kevin Ford, Harry Kulas, Mel Pocock 17th, Jason Clement, Seva Brulyakov and Evan Habe. Habe on the Scott Racing Team KTM. He is our final point scorer with 7.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Dylan Ferranis just losing the rear wheel of number 45, Jake Nichols. Oh, tell you what, the back end lit up there when Jordi Tixier landed, when he dropped it onto the old start straight. Hard, slick, bumpy, stony. Such a physical circuit to get to grips with because of the square edge choppy bumps that always develop pretty high speed as well. Add a little bit of water to it, becomes very, very slick. Fortunately, the guys have been on top of the watering anyway, but certainly after MX1 race 1, they didn't need to put too much water down because of the rain that we had. There's Charlier, Monster Energy Yamaha, comfortable in second place. And in terms of GP, he'll be second overall on 40 points. He fourth in Moto number 1, currently second in his second race. So it'll be 18 points for that fourth in Moto number 1, 22 for second. Alexander Tonkov, the Russian on the Ester Motorsports Honda, is behind him by a few seconds further back, but he's on 38 with that third in Moto number 1. That's 20 points, and currently in fourth in his second moto. That'll be his first podium of his MX2 career for the Russian. As for Charlier though, just one podium this year despite the race win in Sweden, second that weekend. There's Charlier at the end of the straight, Boutron there in third. He's had a good season, the Spaniard. Lost 18 points to Charlier in Moto number 1. Another 20 points, another 2 points here in the second race if he stays where he is. So what was 51 is going to be a deficit or a gap in his favour, I guess. 31 points as we go to Belgium in 2 weeks' time. Obviously, that's going to be the scene of the next Grand Prix. Bastogne, close to the Luxembourg border. Tonkov just going through. Right, here's Coldenhoff, looking like he's off the gas and falling into the clutches of the 461 of Romain Febvre. So as they head up the hill past pit lane, Glenn Coldenhoff could be in danger of losing that 5th place. Jordi Tixier has done just enough to stay ahead of Jake Nichols throughout the course of this moto on that 911 Red Bull KTM. Jake Nichols, though, would love to take that scalp. Ahead of him, the guy who is on the verge of taking second overall in the championship. See the different choice of lines for the riders. The track has really opened up now that the rain's come down. Well, it's really having to think. Sweeping through the turns, squaring off. The normal race line, not necessarily there, but it's actually probably the best condition I've seen this track in many years. Nice line there from Nichols, right between the two bumpy lines. Get the power down on that World Star JM racing machine. Motocross the Nations, of course, at the end of the month, at the end of September, at Teufelstal, not a million miles away from here. A lot of talk around the paddock after this weekend will be on team selection. Of course, Jeffrey Hurlings will be a shoe-in. You'd probably think maybe even Glenn Coldenhoff, and then a third rider yet to be decided. There's the Hurlings fans. Wonder if they're twin air foam hats. Wouldn't be surprised. Already starting to celebrate. as Jeffrey Hurlings with 3:20 on the clock. That'll tick down, then it'll be 2 laps to go. Really has been in a class of his own. Talk about pressure with this kid. What pressure? Hasn't been any all season long. Wasn't last year either. On our news program, our 26-minute news highlight program that you'll be able to see on MX Live TV and I'm sure on our YouTube channel, MXGP. In the next few days, we've got an interview with him. Quite interesting, actually. So going to be well worth a look. But Jake Nichols, closer to Jordi Tixier than he was probably a lap ago, is he? Sometimes when you get into this situation, you know, on the rear wheel for too many laps, you just find yourself picking up their pace and just riding with them rather than riding to overtake them, if you know what I mean. You just almost settle down to their rhythm, even though if you've caught them from 2 or 3 seconds back. So it's one thing trying to catch a rider, then it's the next thing is you're trying to pass them, and so many times we see it where riders then just get stuck on the wheel and can't go forward. I wonder if Jake Nichols, though, has anything left up his sleeve. There's Ferrandis, he's been dropped in the background on the Bud Rockstar Racing Kawasaki. So he's in 9th place. Hurlings, though, already over the line. We're waiting for Christophe Charlier to come through on the Monster in his Yamaha. And when he does, he'll go through 17 seconds down on our race leader, who's gone off. Is that Tixier off? No. 4:61. It's Febvre. So Febvre down. We had a rider off there yesterday, Alvin Osland, in the European qualifying race. I wonder how much damage is done. That's at the end of the old, going into turn 2. So Febvre then losing positions. Oh, we're going to see it here. Look at that. Boom, over the handlebars. Rips down the banners. Wow, big crash, big moment. And that, of course, will allow Jordi Tixier and Jake Nichols through. So he was in 5th place, was Romain Febvre. Picks himself up and rejoins the race, but it's gonna be tight here. I think it's still gonna be 3 laps to go. Pit Byra, Valentina, everybody from KTM. Seen a few older familiar faces knocking around again. The Bullet, if you're wondering what that is. We'll talk a little bit about that as and when the celebration happens. We'll reserve it for then, but Jeffrey Hurlings, yeah, 22 seconds on the clock. He's a couple of corners away from crossing the finish line. Probably go through in about 11 seconds to go. Let's see. 12 seconds. So it's going to be 3 laps to go now for Jeffrey Hurlings. Really hasn't put a foot wrong, has he? Oh, Lupino down the inside of Koldenhoff. So Koldenhoff, he's the one that's going backwards now then. We thought that he had a problem when Febvre was catching him coming down the hill. Not sure whether it's fatigue or whether he's just spent or something else. That's how the podium would look. Hurlings, Charlier, Tonkov. Jake Nichols still going after 911 Jordi Tixier as they go through with 3 laps to go. So Hurlings, Charlier, Boutron 3rd. He's 7 seconds clear of Alexander Tonkov, who in turn is 8 seconds clear of this battle here. 911 Jordi Tixier and 45 Jake Nichols. They're fighting over 5th place. Ferrandis is about 8 seconds further back in 7th. Then Glenn Koldenhoff, we've just seen get passed by Alessandro Lupino, who's now in 8th place. Ferris is 9th. We're waiting for Koldenhoff to come through. He doesn't go through. I wonder if he's gone down pit lane because Petrov and Febvre have all gone by. So we've lost Glenn Koldenhoff. A week after he took his maiden podium, 3rd overall in Germany. He ran up the front, but he's definitely not come round to complete the lap. And I wonder if he stopped out on track or pulled into the pit lane. Normally we have a camera down there, but of course we've got championship celebrations just around the corner as well. So Koldenhoff then not in the running anymore as Hurlings goes through to take the 2-lap board. Still with 9.11, Jordi Tixier. And 45, Jake Nichols. What can he do? His teammate went over the handlebars here. We saw Hurlings at the end of the first lap, remember, launch himself, but managed to save it. But Charlie Boutron still through. They've gone over the line. Tonkov about to go through any moment now. And working their way down through the final corner. This battle for 5th place between Tixier and Nichols. Ferrandis Lupino in 8th place. How far behind is he to Ferrandis and Alessandro Lupino? Well, we're still waiting for him to come through. It's probably 10 or 15 seconds, something like that. But Alessandro Lupino gets himself up into 4th place. Well, unfortunate for him, though. There's Jake Nichols looking at, will he square off here? Go to the inside. Thought about it, but then went for the dirt. Down the inside here in the bottom corner. Oh, he misses his back brake. Could have been expensive for both riders. Landed, the foot came off the footrest. He missed the back brake. That could have been catastrophic for Tixier and for Nichols. And Tixier now looking nervous. Just wondering whether it would have been a big panic rev as he went down the hill first. Off that step off in the back end, getting a little bit loose on the Will Bunderstar and JM KTM of Jake Nichols. On board with Hurlings though, coming through the final turn to take the 1-lap board. And our onboard camera is on there for a reason. Already starting to celebrate Jeffrey Hurlings. He's on there, or the camera is on there, really just to pick up the celebrations as he rides over the line, and there he is already celebrating with riders down in pit lane and team managers. Whole of the Red Bull KTM squad though. I wonder if he'll look over to the left and see him down on the start straight. No. Just getting on with business at hand. 21 seconds clear. His mechanic, if he was in pit lane now, will be making his way down through the tunnels to the turn after the finish line jump, or through the tunnels down to the skybox. Jeffrey Hurlings saluting the crowd at every opportunity around this Locket circuit. Really has been a masterful display throughout 2013. Just dropped 2 race wins. Second in Brazil in the second moto, 3rd in Sweden when he fell at the start. But he's won every other race since then and before then. We've had 13 Grand Prix this year. He's won every single one of them. And he's on the verge of picking up GP win number 14 in the season. Race win number 54, GP win number 29. And world title number 2. Back-to-back as well for the Red Bull KTM rider. Good day out for these guys in the end. Not often you go to a Grand Prix and see a world champion crowned, and these guys that have come out and supported the AMK Locket Motor Club here really will go home with a smile on their face. They would have seen Jeffrey Hurlings crowned MX2 world champion for a 2nd consecutive time as he crosses a line. It's another perfect score. Jeffrey Hurlings is world champion yet again. And in doing so, here's Amy.
Jeffrey Hurlings, at the age of 18, you just won your 2nd world title.
Where's my goggles? Try and grab a word with him.
Jeffrey, how does this feel in comparison to last year? It's your 2nd one.
You know, it's amazing. You know, never could do it without all my sponsors and my friends. You know, they work so hard, and you know, Red Bull KTM and all those guys that have been Stefan Ellis, my crew. Everyone worked so hard. I'm so pumped up on the championship. Thanks for all you guys.
Many congratulations.
Woo!
Yeah, Tixier comes over as well to congratulate his teammate. Job well done from you guys. But Jeffrey Hurlings then really has been great, and Pit Byro getting in there as well. Thanks for everything. So So photo opportunities. Here we go. Hoisted up on the shoulders, he becomes the most successful Dutch rider ever. Spoke to John van den Berg yesterday, himself a two-time winner. But Jeffrey Hurlings takes 2 world titles. He's got more Grand Prix victories, back-to-back as well. Still at the age of 18. He's not 19 until September. So mission accomplished as Valentina gets in on the act and gives him a big old hug as well. Not seen his mum knocking around this weekend, although I'm sure she is here. And Andrea from Aero Helmets getting ready to give him another World Championship winning helmet. So we'll be back in a moment with the celebrations.
Hey Jeffrey, look who's here.
There you go. 2 titles each. John van den Berg on the right, Jeffrey Hurlings on the left. Nice picture moment there. But your overall podium is going to be Hurlings, Charlier and Tonkov. Lupino just missing out. And the bullet goes over to his army of loyal fans. There's Mummy. She's as emotional as she was 12 months ago when he took the title at Faenza. Means a lot to both of them. In a moment we'll give you the official rundown of the race as well. Now, well, we'll talk about that in a moment actually when we come back. Just looking down the list, Lupino got through to 8th in the end, Ferris was 9th and Petrov was 10th, Geisser was 11th. Down the tunnel to the waiting zone, down to the skybox as the chainless chainsaws make the noise. Right, Jeffrey Hurlings then started the season with a double moto victory in Qatar. You followed that up with double moto victories everywhere else as well along the way. Thailand, the Netherlands, Italy, Bulgaria, Portugal. Then he slipped a little bit with a second in moto number 2 in Brazil. Back on track for the next couple of races. And he's been back on track for the last 4 GPs. So Jeffrey Hurlings crowned world champion in MX2 for the 2nd consecutive year. Team photos, there's Liam Everts, Stefan Everts. Mechanics, the backroom staff, everybody that makes this possible for the guys at Red Bull KTM Factory Racing on hand, just making the short journey. Everybody from media as well. And this is the reason why we had our onboard camera on. Just we see what he sees as he comes over the line. And he requested no t-shirts, but KTM have gone ahead and done that. He wanted a monkey instead to Jeffrey Hurlings, because if you follow him on Twitter and Facebook, you'll probably know that he's a big, massive Justin Bieber fan, Jeffrey Hurlings. And Bieber's got a monkey. Hurlings wanted a monkey. He asked Heinz Kinnigadner to get him a monkey. He said, hey, I had a monkey for 20 odd years. He said, they're great with you, but with other people, they are a nightmare. They snap and they snarl at anybody else who comes close. He said, so no monkey, all right? And he said, okay then. And there was supposed to be a guy in a monkey suit knocking around somewhere. Not sure if he knows that yet. Last year, Dirk Grubel was the guy who dressed up as the king, with the cape, the glasses, the Elvis shades and all the rest of it, but we're getting ready for the podium. Maybe the monkey will make an appearance. 3rd overall then, this weekend, the Czech Republic Grand Prix at Lockett. Alexander Tonkov, the Ester Motorsports Honda rider, takes his first career podium. What a day to do it as well, alongside Christophe Charlier, the former European 250 champion from 2009, and Jeffrey Hurlings, a 2-time world champion who takes the title here in Lockett. So the Montrenish Yamaha of Christophe Charlier, second overall. Jeffrey Hurlings, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing. 2 wins out of 2 today. That's his 14th Grand Prix victory of the season, still yet undefeated, and his world title. His second world title comes here 4 years after he crashed in a second moto and did his shoulder, dislocated it, took him out of the season. Stefan Everts on a podium as well. Hurlings does it again. Tonkov gets his trophy from Vladimir Lonik. Does the sponsors proud, puts the goggles around the neck. Zdene Bednar, the mayor of Lockett, on hand to deliver Christophe Charlier's second place trophy. God, wouldn't he would love a world title, wouldn't he? And Jan Stovicek handing Jeffrey Hurlings his winner's trophy for winning the Grand Prix here this weekend in Czech Republic. Stefan Everts will pick up the manufacturer's trophy for KTM from Lucy Fadova from the club here at Lockett. But the big news is Jeffrey Hurlings is world champion for the second time, and it won't be a red plate delivered by Dr. Wolfgang Strupp. It'll be a gold one to go right alongside the one that he picked up 12 months ago in Italy. Jeffrey Hurlings confirmed officially as a 2013 FIM MX2 World Motocross Champion, consecutively back-to-back, 2 in a row.
Now, champagne.
I'm sure he said to Tonkov, "Party at my place, are you there?" Tonkov will be first in the queue. He's already there mentally because he takes his first career podium in MX2 with a third overall this weekend for Ester Motorsports Honda. Jeffrey Hurlings, though, has the last laugh of the others blow a gasket a little bit too soon, although Charlier did wait. Jeffrey Hurlings, though, crowned world champion, winning here in Lockett, the Czech Republic Grand Prix. Charlier second, Tonkov third. And there'll be a minor party tonight in the paddock, I would think. And we'll hear from our world champion, hopefully our second and third place finishers, a little later on. Before that, though, here's what happened in MX2 Race 2. It was a better start for Jeffrey Hurlings, but it was Tonkov who ran down into the turn, but it was Boutron who came out ahead of Charlier. Koldenhoff, Tonkov putting the squeeze on Rauschenecker on the opening lap. Hurlings, though, had a big scare on the first lap as he went through the wave section, but once he'd got himself back in the right frame of mind and rectified that little spin out, he went after Charlier with a neat move coming through turn 2, and then went after Jose Boutron. Same manoeuvre, squared off early, got on the gas, carried more speed, and from there he was never headed, opened up a pretty comfortable victory. Boutron, though, came under pressure as the rain fell from Glenn Koldenhoff, who went out of the race towards the end of the moto. But this battle for third place involving those two and Tonkov was pretty inspiring. But Koldenhoff then just seemed to let Tonkov through. He came home in 4th place to get 3rd overall, but Jeffrey Hurlings went on to win the race, win the Grand Prix. Charlier was second overall. And Boutron was 3rd in the race, but just missed out on the podium. Here's our world champion, Jeffrey Hurlings.
Jeffrey Hurlings, if we took a glance down at the result sheets from this year, you'd be quick to say it was an easy road, but it wasn't, was it?
No, it really wasn't. I had so many ups and downs, or so many crashes, even though I had some crashes when I was knocked out during practice, or many crashes on the Saturday qualification that no one knew on which practice the crashes. But I made it and I got a world championship, and I think this year was so consistent. Won every single GP till now, 14 in a row, and it's just a dream season. I can't thank all my fans and my team enough. All the guys who've always been supporting me, even in my bad times last year when I was kind of a teenager and some things. I lost some fans, but I'm glad I got them back. And thank you all for always sticking behind me. And I'm super pumped.
And we're going to touch back on that, like you've just said. From everybody else's point of view, it does feel like you've grown up so much throughout the year. Do you feel like that?
Yeah, I definitely feel like that. You know, even though it's only 1 year in between since last year and this year, you know, I really grow in many things, and obviously the things I've done last year, I learned a lot about it, and I really changed. And this year it's been really paying off with some good results. And as I said, never could out without Red Bull KTM Racing Team.
And does it feel different? This world title, obviously your first one was last year. How does your second one feel?
It feels less emotional, but it feels really nice. You know, I'm super proud about it, and I'm really thankful.
And you're still going to go after the rest of the GPs?
Yeah, sure. You know, 3 GPs left, and hope to win them all 3.
Well, many congratulations. You are the 2013 MX2 World Champion, and best luck for the rest of this year.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, 14 wins in a row. That's a record all in itself in a single season. And equals Stefan Evert's 14 consecutive wins from 2005, the last 2 GPs, and the 12 that he won the following year in 2006. But Stefan Everts did win 14 in a row, in a season, but not consecutively. So Jeffrey Hurlings, back-to-back world titles before his 18 and 14 in a row. The Bullet, Jeffrey Hurlings, does it again. And he'll be looking to do it all over again just to remain a winner when we go to Belgium in 2 weeks' time. Jeffrey Hurlings then will continue his way in Belgium, Bastogne in 2 weeks' time, which is where round 15 of the FIM MX2 Motocross World Championship will come from. So plan A has been executed. He's successfully defended his FIM MX2 Motocross World Championship title in 2013. Plan B is to remain undefeated throughout the season, and that would be cause for a massive celebration as well, because nobody has ever done that in the history of the sport. Take a brave man to bet against him doing something like that, though, wouldn't you think? The way that he's riding this year, the confidence that he's got, the fact that the pressure is off now, if there was any, of course. Would have been nice to have had a quick word with Christophe Charlier and Alexander Tonkov, but somebody just sporting a nice pair of shorts there at the top of the Monster Energy station. Shorts being the operative word. Well, we'll be back in a minute with MX1 Race 2. But just in case you're in any doubt how warm it is here today, there you go. Quick reminder then as to why Jeffrey Hurlings is world champion in 2013.